Well, hello, folks. It's Thursday, the 12th of June. What a week, huh? Cheers. People, it's like we're witnessing the death of America. Two absolute icons and giants and masters of the arts have left us. It's interesting, the timing. The unrest in LA. Sly says it's time to go, and he says goodbye. A day later, basically, it's almost like Sly says to Brian, "It's okay now. You can come now." It's almost like Brian Wilson thought, well, well, it's probably time to go. It's like these two, almost like two columns that were standing, holding up this amazing monument of music. Sly Stone, Brian Wilson. Within a day, within a couple days, if it was a couple days, gone. Rest in peace, Brian Wilson. That's two giants. That's two architects of American music to start with, but of culture worldwide. The Beach Boys were as significant to me in their own way as the Beatles, as James Brown, Sly, as Genesis. These are some milestone artists in my life. There's more, but so I want to share this perspective because the music of the Beach Boys is really important to me. And as a child in the 60s, when it was happening, when I was a little boy here in Omaha, I loved the Beach Boys. And it wasn't because the Beach Boys made me think about going to the beach and having fun and watching people surf, because I was in reality as a small child. I couldn't do those things. And I knew it because of racism. So how did I relate to the Beach Boys? Honestly, as a child, a black boy, was the sound of unadulterated fun and youth. And I related to that 110%. Stephanie, I know you watch me regularly and you can attest to this. The Beach Boys, we still love the Beach Boys. I'm speaking for my family. Fun, fun, fun. Little Deuce Coupe. And then we don't even get into the ultra classics. God Only Knows, Good Vibrations. So, like a million other people, yesterday, I pulled what little I have anymore by the Beach Boys because I still have, like Sly, and I'm so out of room that those singles are in the closet. I can't even. I started to dig for the Sly, and I found one. It's crazy. You could say I'm a hoarder, but my house is orderly, but it's crammed to the rafters with music. So I started yesterday because I definitely played some Beach Boys. I love Brian Wilson. That song Caroline No from Pet Sounds that he released as a single, I posted that. When I first discovered that song, separate from Pet Sounds, and that's how I heard it first. As a kid, I heard that single first. I was entranced. What a what a song! But yesterday I started with this Wild Honey, which isn't one of their best records, but I have it, and Brian Wilson's on it, and I just love Brian Wilson's voice. Absolutely love it. I got to see the Beach Boys twice, but never with Brian Wilson. First time was in 1974. So I saw the Beach Boys, I think with this guy, Brian Johnston or whatever his name is. They were opening for Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. They weren't totally forgettable, you know. And then the next time I saw them was like in the 80s. And that time I ran into Carl Wilson on the streets of the old market, although I was so blown away, all I could say is, as he walked by, I think that's Carl Wilson. And he just turned and looked at me and smiled and kept walking. So Beach Boys live in London. This is another one from my collection I'm showing. Of course, I have Pet Sounds. Can't remember how I found this album. Don't remember how long I've had it. There's just a whole lot special about not only this album, but what the Beach Boys, in particular through Brian Wilson, what they were trying to do musically, competing with the Beatles. This is an original 1966 German pressing of Pet Sounds. I love this album, and I love Brian Wilson, in the same way that Sly did, changed music. He did, it's almost beyond words. He developed an entire genre of music and brightened the world as a result. Sly and Brian Wilson, I'll think of them like that, like the way I think of David Bowie and Prince. They made the world better. It hurt. You know, when I woke up from my nap and found out that Sly had died, that was a shock. And I knew, because this is the way it goes, that they go in twos and threes. Well, we're always dying, but big ones, it's like if one big one goes, then usually hear about another. But it was like, oh my God, no, Brian Wilson. Both 82. So once again, it's like the marching of time. It's like, man, you wish we could live forever. So I pulled this, and I'm sure glad that I got this when it came out. The Smile Sessions, Beach Boys. And after seeing a couple comments on this when I posted it, I looked it up on Discogs. And this has really gone up in value. So this is not cheap to find. You can hear where, two things. You can hear where this is the makings of a potential masterpiece, and also where there's parts where you can hear where it's almost like Brian Wilson has lost his way. There's incomplete tracks. There's a couple of them here. I didn't look at the titles to tell you, but you can hear it's like, well, this idea isn't fully developed, and it's like you can almost hear like, well, we don't know what we're doing or why we're doing this, but we're gonna go ahead and record this. And then the way that they incorporate sounds, Brian's, they call him the modern day Mozart, which I would agree with. His melodies and his arrangements are in a class of their own. The playfulness of the music, the vegetables, how cool is that? Wind chimes on here, and then the version of Good Vibrations on here, which is different from the single. The single edit leaves out a whole vocal part that's on here. You can hear why they edited it out, though, actually. Two absolute giants this week. On top of that, the absolute insanity of the criminal who is in the presidential office, all that combined, it feels like the death of America. It's like I can't associate the goodness and the fantastic vibrations of the Beatles and the Beach Boys and Sly and the Family Stone. I cannot associate any of that with the current administration's vibrations and what they're up to. It's so ugly and evil what they're up to. So yeah, I kept the package. I kept the whatever you want to call that piece there. And this is fat. This is a fat 180-gram vinyl. I love the Beach Boys. Even Mike Love with his jerk ass. Wonderful booklet. Just the whole package. There's Brian. He was a genius. He was. And I'm just showing everything. See, it's always been known who was the man. Who was the man? Who was the genius? Brian Wilson. The old Capitol label, the one that we grew up. I'll say we for those folks of my age and older. That the label design that we grew up with and grew to love, courtesy of the Beatles and the Beach Boys. I don't think I can say enough about the importance of music on culture, on our personal lives, how it sustains us. Cheers, people. Two giants in 1 week. You better believe I got my Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson presents Smile. I haven't revisited this yet, but I got it. It's like this is like kind of essential. Not kind of. This is essential American work. Absolutely essential. It's kind of like when they sent, I forget what the name of the deal was that they sent in space with the artifacts to try to identify Earth to aliens, and how I know they put Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry on that disc. If they didn't put the Beach Boys on there, they in my mind they should have as well. So rest in peace, Giants. Rest in peace, Brian Wilson and Sylvester Stewart. Again, they're like two huge totem poles in my life. Not just the way I'm talking this morning, but as I've been reflecting on this all week, basically, because of Sly, the importance of music and the importance of certain particular people and what they did musically and culturally at the time. The 60s wouldn't have been the 60s without the Beach Boys. Rest in peace, Brian Wilson. That's a big one. Right quick, I made a quick trip down to Homer's yesterday because I saw in there used a record that I thought, well, I have this, don't I? Tyndall, Sonnenlicht, German duo on the Sky label, 1980. This is nothing super special, but I just love the aesthetics and the look. I love the Sky label. This is nice. It's kind of on the light side. I thought I had it. So when I saw this at first, the day that of the update, I didn't bother. I said, "Oh, I have that." And then, because I've been having these brain failures lately, they're not brain failures, you forget shit. I said, I better check. I thought for sure I had this. I didn't. I have this. I had this already. Tromland. You can see the similarity. So that's why I was thinking, oh, I have that. No, I don't. So I grabbed it. And I also have this one, Reflectionin. Excuse me. All originals on the Sky label. Only one record, though. Because, I do have to pinch pennies. I do. I got a package from Brian Day yesterday of Public Eyesore. And I'm also noticing that it appears that Brian isn't concerned about me posting reviews for him to use to advertise his music, because it's been a while since he's pointed any attention to me commenting on Public Eyesore releases. But I'm still receiving them. But Brian is truly a friend of mine. He is. And when he lived in Omaha, we were pretty close. So he sent me some cassettes, one of which I've already listened to, but it's in the other room, so I can't show it, and one CD. And I fell into this right away. This is... I'll talk to you, Jessica, if you're watching in a second. Brand new Eugene Chadbourne with bassist Jerome Parker Wells. Fed Up with Bass. Now, this is cool. It's a double CD on the Public Eyesore label by the underappreciated, under-recognized great guitarist Eugene Chadbourne. And I fell into this like right away. This is another one where I got it. I loaded onto the computer to play through my iTunes app. And when you're on the computer using iTunes, it will read the disc if it's been if the information has been sent into Grace Note, and this one wasn't. So I spent the time and went ahead and put the information on Grace Note so that when you play the disc, you see what's on it. But while I was doing that, I'm listening to this like, wow, this is really, really good. I love how Eugene, again, is so humble with his talent and his outlook. And he talks about it in the one sheet that I got from Public Eyesore, how he's, lovingly, jokingly pointing attention to the bassist on here, who is good, plays upright mostly, a lot of technique, a lot of ambient stuff going on here. And then Eugene's Chadbourne's guitar on here. Some of the things he does on here, it's like, oh yeah, that guy can really play. And he's irreverent. I met him. And even corresponded with him for a while after that, because he gave me his address. I've got it on the John Zorn Eugene Chadbourne label record. And I spoke to him for a minute about collaborating, because he said he was open to it. And then when we got to the point where it's like reality sets in, which is, well, I can't collaborate with you for free. I'm a professional musician, basically. I need some money, and I didn't have any. But the fact that he would even entertain working with me was a lift to my spirits. This is really good. Fed Up with Bass by Eugene Chadbourne and Jerome Parker Wells on Public Eyesore. Don't even have to wait to recommend it. I ended up listening to almost all of disc 1 because it just comes, it's really good. So Jessica, if you see this, I did listen to a bit of this. You folks play very comfortably. The vocals on here are. If you watch me, you know that vocals are something that I have an attitude about. Okay, and so the way this starts with that Bible quote, "I shall not want," I had to skip it. It's like I am so done. I don't think if you don't know me personally, you won't understand just how burned I am by the church, and so I didn't. It's like I don't want to hear that. So then the music starts on the second track, and it's very nice. And then the singing starts. And it's like, okay, I have to take this off. I'm gonna have to come back to this. Okay, I gotta be honest, folks. So yeah, I don't want to put the air conditioner in the fan in the window just yet. So I turned the fan on. It did get up to over 90 yesterday. My cousin Raymond, he yesterday had a new window air conditioner put in, and the other Mexican Ray helped. Ray and his son helped Ray put the deal in. So I watched that, and it's got me thinking. Well, I don't think I need a new air conditioner, although the one I have is very old. But I'm gonna wait because, excuse me. And my heart goes out to my Hispanic neighbors. I have a lot of them, and I don't know who of them are not here undocumented. I hope they're all legal, but I notice Ray's wife's demeanor. She comes and goes a lot, and I can almost read her body language. Tense, you know what I'm saying? Not all the time, but it's like the vibration in the air has changed and it's not welcoming. And this is not America becoming great again. If you honestly are deluded into thinking that a criminal sex offender pedophile is actually doing something to make things better, you're insane. And the more they talk about it in the news, it's more apparent how all this tariff bullshit and Mr. Taco, you don't know what he's doing. You know, America is not a business, and this is not the way to try and run this country. He's ruining regular people's lives. We're the ones paying for the tariffs. Ugh. And one more ugly thing about Trump, since Trump butt huffers don't like being confronted with facts. I watched part of an interview yesterday online. If I can find it in my history, I'll tell you the man's name. He wrote a book about Trump. He worked for Trump, and he details the Epstein-Trump connection, how they were best buds for almost like 15 years. And he has actually seen incriminating pictures. He details 3 of them in the interview. And it's nothing, the pictures he describes are, well, it's alarming enough. You know, the girls are topless and obviously underage on Trump's lap at MC. I can't find the man's name. It's something like Michael Wolff or something. But anyway, the information is there, and reams of it about the horrible nature of this person who unfortunately we're stuck with as president. And so, I will not tolerate anyone coming and getting mad about me denigrating the president. What is wrong with you that you can't deal with these facts about this horrible human being? I will talk about it. I sure will. Quickly going to the comments. just right quick to my great nephew Gabriel, who, let me go there because it's sweet. I appreciate your love and concern, Gabriel. He tells me, I really don't understand how someone can watch your vids and just leave negative comments. Fuck these haters on and don't even waste the mental energy. Gabriel, you must understand I'm not wasting energy when I talk about this. People, other people need to hear folks like me talk clearly and objectively about this stuff because we're in the age of stupid, and some of the stupidest people are the loudest voices now. And unfortunately, psychology has shown through studies that in a room of people of varying degrees of intelligence and background, the group is always going to rally around the dumbest, not the smartest. Isn't that sad? They're eating the cats and the dogs. And even after that madness, people voted for that. It's insane, and there is no reason to act like everything's just okay. Losing Sly and then Brian Wilson in the same week, it's like the death of America. I'm going to play this again today. This was so wonderful, you know. And then the loping sound that the high llamas in Stereolab have copped from the Beach Boys so much. Ding, 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 ding. It's like it's not at all country, but it can conjure up images of cowboys and the West. But beyond that, it conjures up this feeling of a place that's safe and good. And that's Brian Wilson that created that sound. It's awesome. Awesome. Thank goodness for music. And thank goodness for you folks. You've been leaving some very kind comments. Thank you very much I appreciate the appreciation. So the person who mentioned Les Baxter said it wasn't him that he actually heard in his head. It was Henry Mancini. Well, I actually got to see Henry Mancini perform with his orchestra. What a treat. What a treat. Music is magical. Thank you so much for the kind words, people. I'm just going to be who I am. I sure am. And I'm hearing from people all over the world in solidarity against this evil, negative shit going on. Stay together and come together, people. Okay? Take care, everyone. Love you all.